Okay, so do you know what is dependency injection in Angular?
Yeah, so dependency injection is like a design pattern we can say.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose if you want to use one of the services, like take example of if you want to integrate like post API or get API. So we already have pre-built services in Angular like HTTP client. So if you want to use that services in our component, so using constructor we have to uh, create we have to create that service in our constructor so that we can use in our component. So like take example, if you want to call post API, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in our component. So in constructor we have to create that variable or reference for that services, like a private service colon employee service, sorry, HTTP client service, and then we can use that service in our to call our HTTP client
Okay,
post API basically.
okay. And can we inject the service without constructor in a component?
Without constructor in in it we can do that, I believe.
No. What Angular version you are working right now? Means
Angular 16.
16. So do you
Yeah,
know inject method? Inject?
yeah, at that injectable.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
just only inject.
Inject, no.
Okay. Read about this. So we can
Okay.
inject a service with the inject method. Okay, so you don't
Hmm.
need to create a constructor and pass the private and all. So you can create a variable and just equal to arrow colon inject and your service name. So it will inject the way we inject in the constructor.
Got it.
Okay. Okay. So what is the features of Angular 16?
Uh, there are a couple of features I believe, like standalone component are there they introduce.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they are trying to remove modules concept in Angular, and then we can directly use our component globally. This is one of the one.
Okay, but do you know how to the application will bootstrap then? Earlier we use app.module, correct?
Right.
So app.module, we have the bootstrap method over there and we pass the component as a root component, correct? In app.module.ts. Before that, we use app module in main.ts file. So do you know how the application loads now in Angular 16?
Oh no, that I didn't check that. I just read about that feature only.
Okay. Any other feature do you know?
Not about Angular 16, but about Angular 17. I have some of them like feature they introduced. Like instead of we have directory like structure directory, ng switch and ng4.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of writing that, we can directly use like at the rate if at the rate switch and at the rate for something like they introduce, like they become it optimized version in term of syntax.
Okay. Any other new features?
I majorly know these two features only, like standalone component and what I said, like
Mm-hmm.
syntax optimization. These two feature I'm aware of now.
Okay. Okay. So how many ways we can create a form in Angular?
There are basically two types, like reactive forms and template driven forms.
Okay. Which one is the better?
So if our requirement is like to create some simple forms, like basically two or three fields, then we can go for like a template driven form, which is a basic validation we can perform there. And if you want to perform some complex logic, so for that we have to like use reactive forms.
Okay. And suppose I have 10 fields in a form and I want to add if I want to set the value of 5 element only, 5 controls, so what method we have to use?
If you want to set five fields only,
Same
that's what I think.
if you have a person form, okay, first name, last
Okay.
name, and address, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if you have only first name and last name, so how you will set the value for the form? So if you don't have address, then for two elements, how you will set the values?
Set the value means ng. We directly get using ng model, na? Model that value in component level.
And in reactive,
Yeah, there is ng form control something is there. Form control, I believe.
yep, that is correct. But do you set, suppose you have 100 fields, then you will set for each one, like the way form control equal to value dot equal to XYZ, like that?
Yeah, in my current project, like in
No,
what I did
we
in like
no, we have patch value and set value. Suppose you have three elements, three controls, and
mhm,
you have all the values, then we use set values. Okay, but if you want to set the sum of the values of the controls, then we have to use patch values.
patch values.
Yeah, patch value is there. Okay,
Okay,
read
I
about
will I
this.
will I'm
Yeah,
writing these questions.
okay, yep. Okay. So what is directives then?
Yeah, so directive basically used to change the layout or structure of the DOM at the runtime.
Mm-hmm.
So there are different type of directive. We have like structural directive, attribute directive, and component is also one of the special type of directive which have template in it. So in structural directive we have ngif, ng switch, and ng for.
Mm-hmm.
In attribute directive we have like which is related to styles like ng style and ng class are there in attribute directive.
And what is host binding and host listener?
Host binding and host listener. I guess it is related to directive as well, but custom directive maybe. Uh, I heard you asking this question many times, but
Hmm.
I'm never check this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
I
good.
will. Yeah,
Because this is the part of your directives only.
yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that you know the standalone components. So do you know features of the standalone components? Means why they have introduced this?
Standalone component. Why didn't no?
Okay. Read about this as well.
Mhm.
If you say that you know the Angular 16, then this type of question will come.
Actually, what happened like from last 7 to 8 days that my onboarding process is going on, so I
Hmm.
didn't get chance to check Angular things.
Okay. 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 No problem. But go through all these things because this
Yeah,
will
yeah, sure.
then as a you said that you know the Angular 17, so deferred view is there. Okay. So you mentioned that we have at the rate ng if and all. So the way we have a differ as well. So you should know about the differ as well. So what is the differ blocks? Okay.
Before,
Differ
okay,
at the rate differ. The way we use the
okay,
lazy loading in the components for the components, the way we can use the differ for the HTML only. So we can lazy load your divs as well. So it's a part of the that differ loading.
okay,
Okay, so we have too many methods with it. So idle, viewport means when we the content will come into the viewport at that time only it will show. If you see the Apple's website, then you will relate that. So how that animation works, then on hover, on timer. So all those things will be as a uh, you know that set timeout we use in the JavaScript TypeScript, correct? Same
yeah,
thing
for
we can
us
use
for
in
software.
HTML. Yeah, so same thing we can use HTML as well. So if you want to show the sum of the div after some milliseconds, so you can add that as well, timer. So this is the
Okay,
defer. Okay, and read about signals as well.
yes, okay.
Angular signals. It's part of Angular 17. Okay, we'll move to the next question then. So do you know what is interceptor?
Yeah, interceptor is basic like as per the name, it is the interceptor. Suppose if you are performing, if suppose API call, and
Mm-hmm.
we want to set like headers on there, like a kind of a manipulation we want to do on that API while calling it. So using interceptor, we can do that. So
Okay.
we can set like HTTP headers in request, and then call like a response.
Mm-hmm.
If we get response from server, we can perform some other manipulation as well. So it is basically used to manipulate the request and response.
Okay. So have you passed by chance a authorization token or something in the header? Do you know how to pass that? Means,
No, I never such a check such use cases. I just going through basic things of
mm,
Angular and JavaScript.
okay. Okay. Read about that. How to add a header in a request. Okay. So do you know RxJS operators?
Inject operator, yeah, it is a JavaScript library, I believe, which is used to handle like asynchronous operation with the help of observable.
Mm-hmm.
So we have
So
like
do you know what operator we mostly used from RxJS?
operator in the sense like subject, uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, pipe. Pipe is also RxJS operator.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
No, there
I'm
is
not
a concept. RxJS pipe is different thing, and Angular pipe
okay.
is different.
So I mostly work with like a observable and like a
Mhm.
subject and event emitter.
Okay. Okay. So we can use pipe over there, and inside that we can use, suppose you want to call a API only single time, then we can use operator take. It will run only one time. Then we can use a replace subject over there. Then suppose you want to do some manipulation before your subscription, then at that time we use a map over there. We can use a tick over there. Suppose you want to get some data from your observable before subscribing, so we can use a plunk. So there are a couple of RHS operator. So those mostly we use. So we mostly, while returning the data from the service to component, we mostly map the data and make data as a model, and we pass that data to service to component. So these are the common things we use. And do you know how to handle the errors for services?
For service, so yeah, like suppose if you are using promise, so
Hmm.
we have like a catch block. In catch, we can perform like catch that error and perform like user friendly operations.
Okay,
We
and
also have like try catch.
what about observables?
In term of object, if you subscribe, suppose if you are getting some data from API, okay,
Hmm.
uh, one of the API from yeah, and after subscribing, if you are getting that data, so if you are checking like if result is present, and then we are going to perform a positive scenario. In else case, we can perform like a yeah, some exception may occur there, and we can like print exception or throw some of the exception kind of thing.
Okay, read about this.
Exception handling observable especially.
Yep, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So how to catch an error and how to resolve those things. Okay, so you mentioned that pure pipes and impure pipes related to Angular. So do you know difference between both? What are both?
Yeah, pure pipe basically get a executor only when input property change there, and impure property is going to execute every time like any Angular life cycle detection change occur there.
Okay,
So by default, Angular is a pure pipe. If you want to make it impure, so we have to change that flag into false.
okay. So suppose you have one pipe method. Okay, suppose you created one your
Mhm.
own pipe. If you want to use that pipe into the component, so what are the dependencies we have to add?
Okay, pipe dependency. I don't think there are dependency we have to add like manually ourselves. We can directly use. Suppose if you have date
But
and
but your component,
yeah,
how will know that this is pipe we have to use in our component?
is it included in common module?
No, you are saying that custom module, custom pipe. Suppose you created your custom pipe, you want to use that custom pipe to your component. So do you know means what we have to do to use that?
Yeah, yeah. I I guess in there is a annotation like a pipe, and inside that we can like.
Yeah. So see, we have created at the rate pipe, we have given the transform pipe as well. You created your class as well, you are exported as well. You created transform pipe implements pipe transform, correct? Suppose you have given
Mm-hmm.
your own name, but that pipe you have to use now in some of the components. On that time
It
you
will
have to
get uh, okay, okay.
so on that time you have to import it somewhere. So that is what I'm asking. Do you know where we have to import it?
Yeah, I use, but I didn't check that.
Yeah, check it because we can
Yeah.
use earlier we have to import it into the app module. So
Com-
with a standalone, we don't need to add any module. So we have to import in the components. So once you read about the standalone, you will relate all these
Mhm.
things. So read about the standalone components. So it will help you to understand these concepts better.
Okay, I want to ask one question. Like
Hmm.
while suppose giving an interview in
Hmm.
real time, should I say like I'm working on Angular 13 or 14? Because if I say like Angular 16, there are so much scope to ask questions.
Yeah, so that is what I'm saying. If you are mentioning, then suppose, see, I am working on something the latest version, then I will definitely ask you all these questions.
Mm-hmm.
So make
Okay,
sure that if you know, then only tell them because this will give the bad impression to the interview.
right.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move to the next question then. So do you know SSR, server side rendering? Anything?
I say, sir, no, I didn't heard of it.
Okay, read about this because this is also one of the most asked question.
Okay.
Okay, okay, okay. So do you know NGRX?
NGRX,
Hmm?
I heard about it, but I'm not able to recall it now.
Okay, okay. Suppose you have okay, suppose you have one module, okay, and in that module
Mm-hmm.
you have 10 components, okay, and you have to
Right.
use the same value into the 10 components. Then how you will implement this?
So if you have one global value and we want to use it on every component,
No, there is no global value. You have to create it and you have to put somewhere. Then only you are able to access the that value to the 10 components. Those are
uh,
not a child-parent relationship. They are the only the sibling components you meant to say. There is no relation between all those things. So how you can pass the data between 10 components?
uh, basically we in service we can use like event emitter and we can set that value and we can use using that service we can get that value.
Event emitter.
Yeah.
Okay. And how you will get that value from emitter?
Yeah, suppose if we are setting value like we are creating object like new event emitter and suppose I'm setting value like data type like a boolean true or false. Okay. And I'm using global variable to set that like I'm creating a let emitter equal to new event emitter and in one of the method I'm setting that value instead of false I'm setting true. So I'm going to use that service like let's say utility service and I'm going to use that utility service in sorry I'm going to inject that utility service using that service reference like service dot emitter dot get dot value. So using that syntax I can get value because I'm perform that in my one of the use case while I'm creating one sample app project.
Okay. Okay. But suppose one of the component update that value true to false. Then how the
Mhm.
other component will know that the value get changed?
We have to subscribe for that.
So do you know any other way to do this?
Using subject we can do that subjects.
Mhm. Okay.
We
So what type of subject you will use?
So I guess there are different type like subject, uh, replace subject, and one of the behavioral subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So in behavioral subject, if we set value that we can get latest value every time whenever we are going to subscribe it.
In which one? Behavioral.
Behavioral, I'm not sure. This name is exact.
No,
Yeah,
name
I'm
is
missing
correct.
something.
Name is correct,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I'm asking which one will be the perfect to use this in this case.
Yeah, behavioral subject.
Okay, and why?
So in behavioral subject, we always get latest value, and we can set initial value as well in behavioral subject.
And what about subject only?
In subject, uh, in subject we can set we cannot we can set like a initial value. We
Okay.
are if we subscribe. So if it have data, then only it is going to execute. So this is the major difference between subject and
No,
behavioral
but
subject.
to share the data into the multiple components, can we use subject?
Yeah, we can do that as well.
No, but you said that we use a behavioral subject instead of using subject. So that is I'm asking, can we use a subject as well to share the data between components? 10 components.
Yeah, if our like suppose it will not what that's I want to say like suppose if you don't
See,
want any initial value set there
no, see,
like default
Nikhil,
value default,
only the
yeah,
difference between both is subject will not have the default value and behavioral will have the default value. That's it. We can
right,
use subject as well and behavioral subject as well. It depends upon the use case. We can use both. So only the single difference is that subject will not have the default value. That's it.
right.
So
So
that
it's
is,
depend on use case.
yeah, depend upon you how we want to use it.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so what is change detection strategy do we have in Angular?
Change detection strategy. I never read about it. Like what is how it is working internally, like
Yep,
its
read
life
about
cycle.
this. Because
Yeah,
when the component value get changed, your DOM also get changed automatic, correct? This is happened due to the change detection strategy. Okay.
yeah, right.
We have on push and default. So read about on push when we have to use on push and what is the drawback of the default one. So you will know that the why we are using the on push and when we have to use all these things.
Right.
Okay. Mm, And
Actually, I was expecting some basic question from you, but you make me.
no. So as per your experience, I think this much questions you should prepare. If you say that
Oh,
you have experience of 5 years, but you worked at least 1 year in Angular, then this type of question will come.
okay.
So I'm taking the interview as per your experience only. So
Yeah.
yep. So that's why I did not ask you the component data sharing into this parent child. Then we have the how many ways we can bind the data. Then what is the
Hmm.
ng build? What is ng serve? What is AOT? Then what is the eager loading, lazy loading? All those things I did not ask. That's why.
Hmm. Right.
Okay, read about these concepts, and
Sure.
I think at least read about what a question I asked you, so you will understand in the depth the bit critical questions for you.
Yeah, sure, sure. I have realized
Yeah.
I have to prepare for so much.
Okay, so I think I have covered too many questions related to Angular as well. So do you have any questions right now?
Yeah, so like I'm going to say into like I have around 1 year of Angular experience and 5 year of Java.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to expect such kind of question that you ask, or I'm going to expect like a basic question only, like how you
No,
integrate
prepare
API.
prepare for a worst only. So you will automatically prepare for the basic questions, okay? But prepare
Mm-hmm.
for a worst questions, all those things. What is the patch value? I did ask you. Means
Mm-hmm.
if you are saying 1 year experience and you worked with the forms, then you definitely know what is the set value and patch value. What is form builder? What is form group? What is form control? If you say that there
Yes,
is a kind of control we use, so this is not correct. So if you are saying that I know the reactive form, then you should know all these things. So while reading these things, you can prepare for other the basic things as well. But
sure, sure.
prepare, yeah, but prepare for worst. So that's why I'm saying. And anything else?
No, no. Thank you for your guidance.
Yeah.
I will work on that things.
Yep. Read about JavaScript as well and HTML
Yes.
CSS as well. So I mostly not asked related to HTML CSS questions. So you can prepare those as well. And
Uh,
I have created. Yes, Nikhil.
yeah, I have one question. Suppose I didn't get chance to work on real time project. So should I tell them yeah, I don't have real time experience, or should I say yes, I worked on that?
If you feel comfortable answering your questions, then you can say that you worked on.
Okay,
But
okay,
if you
yeah, that's
say
what
you
I'm
worked
thinking.
on and you are not answering, then this is the problem. Even if you clear the Java interview, then they will say that you said that you are a full stack developer, but still you don't have knowledge about the UI.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, so think about that. So if you really prepared in Angular, so you can go through the Angular interviews only instead of going to Java. And but once you get the chance to work on the UI side, then in a 6 months as well, you will be like a pro in a UI as well. So it is not a big deal to work in a UI.
Yes.
And one more thing, I have created that one cheat sheet for front-end interviews for the Angular. Sorry, not for Angular. The question are related to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if you want to uh, take that as well, so you can buy from the top mid.
Sure, sure, I will.
Yeah. So
Is it, yeah,
mhm.
is it for Angular as well?
No, the Angular questions I'm preparing right now, and
Okay,
it
okay.
is because Angular and React is was, so I'm taking bit time to create those ebooks. But for now, you can buy at least for JavaScript, HTML, CSS. So you will know that how many. So how can you prepare? So what are questions I have written over there? So just read about the question without checking the answer and try to answer yourself. Are you prepared for
Mhm.
this answer or not? And you can check your answer with that ebooks value, ebooks answers. So in that way you will prepare. So the that ebooks are related to more to how to answer your question. Okay, so
Yeah,
you will prepare for that.
yeah. As I said, I'm very serious to switch in a full stack, so I definitely purchase it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go through it and tell me as well if something is missing or anything you want to add more over there. So we can think about it to adding more things over there.
Yes, and one more thing, I will prepare around 1 or 2 months again, and then if you can take my interview, I will schedule it.
Yeah, yeah, no,
So you will understand how much progress I did.
yeah, yeah, no problem.
Yes, sure.
You can anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, then Nikhil.
Thank you.
Yep. All the best.
Yeah.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.